Welcome back, guys. I am Zell, and today we're getting a look at the MassDrop Ferrrum Forge Falcon. And yes, guys, all those companies were involved in the making of this knife. We did the manufacturing. MassDrop did the distribution, and Ferrrum Forge did the design. So, from henceforth, we're going to call it the Ferrrum Forge Falcon, because that's just too big a mouthful to go otherwise. And what we get is a closed length of 3.85, a handle thickness of 0.5, and a closed height of a rather not so tall 1.24. I figured it would be taller than it is. And we're bead blasted titanium. We got a little lanyard hole there, kind of hidden up in there, very nice. Rolling it back here, we got a nice smooth backspacer. Flipper tab with some jimping on it. Very nicely mated up right here. Very nicely done. Some jimping right up through here. And it's, of course, well centered. And we got our tip up right hand only pocket clip. Hey, you know. But very nice looking knife close. Has a nice aggressive stance and just a good look overall. And that, I said tip up right hand only. It is not. It's tip up left or right hand. Just be sure to get the right screws in the right holes whenever you flip it around to the other side. And one last metric before we move along. This thing weighs in at 3.65 ounces. So with its intent of being a standard pocket knife, I think they hit the weight fairly good. Because we got a blade length of 2.91, but the edge length is only 2.45. Yeah, you know. Anyhow, let's get into some comparison. And this is one of those where I think we don't have enough. I'm sorry, we're not in our normal place here doing the videos. But the Rat Model 1's a bigger knife, of course, and it's going to hang off the screen some. Sorry about that. But that's really not what it was designed to compete with. And it wasn't designed to compete with our Buck 110 either. And it's, oh, it almost made it on screen. Nope, not going to do it. And where this thing is really made to compete is in your delicate size knife. Or in your dragonfly size knife. And whenever you get down there, it competes pretty well, except that it's titanium, except that it's heavier than either one of those knives by quite a bit. Another knife that it might be compared to is the Quiet Carry Strand. Another pretty small knife, and I think it compares favorably. In fact, very favorably. I would go with the Ferrum Forge Falcon. And there is our CRKT pillar. And also compares favorably there, better materials, and I think it actually weighs less than the pillar in stock trim. So there's just some comparison. Now let's get a look at this blade. And what we've got is a piece of CPM S35VN, nicely flat ground. All the edges have been broken, except for the sharp one. And got a big finger choil up here, and a blade hole that has also been nicely chamfered. I mean, look at that. Well done. Got some big jimping that actually works pretty decently. And we're swedged. Everything looks good on this side, doesn't it? Yep. And then we go over to this side. And, you know, I'm not one to fuss about this small amount of stuff on a blade. However, MassDrop, guys, update your logo. This, unfortunately, really gives it that discount store look. And I don't care for it at all. Now, let's do something with that logo, friends over at MassDrop. And it is S35VN, and it has your numbering here for which number blade it is, and your Ferrrum Forge design emblem here. Very nice there. So, let's look at edge termination, and of course with that big old finger choil, edge termination is very nice. And, you know, overall, this is a very, very good-looking knife. And let's do our pause and read card, and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, so let's look at the mechanical bits. This thing is WE in mechanics. We've got WE standard pivot in there, except we've got torque screws on either end of it instead of WE stuff. We've got a puzzle piece lock bar insert, just like WE puts in most of their knives, specific to this knife. And ceramic ball bearings, ceramic detent, big hardened steel washers backing up the bearings. All your normal stuff. See the what's inside video. It'll give you a good look at all of it. And we've got, you know, it's a standard frame lock. And the one problem with this particular knife is, this is Tony's knife. Thank you, Tony, for letting us look at it. And it should be on its way back to you soon if you don't already have it in your pocket right now. And the problem this knife had was Stazza 23, Nick had it first, and he had to adjust the lock bar tension quite a bit. Well, I did the what's inside video, and then I had to make another adjustment to the lock bar tension. So what we have now at this point is a knife that still flips very well. The detent for flipping it, very good. Are you going to use that blade hole to, you know, maybe, but it ain't comfortable because the detent now is very, very snug because of having to put more tension on that lock bar to keep the lock rock out of the knife. Now, are all the Ferrum Forge Falcons like that? I have no idea, but this one is. And I just wanted to let you know about it. Tony, it's working great right now. It's just got a very, very stiff detent. And let's move along to ergonomics. This is another place, I mean, you guys look at that, tell me what I'm going to say. You guys know before I ever talk about this. We got a grip length of 3.14. So it's a very small knife. However, it is efficient in its use of the handle. Very efficient. But that turns into this deal where I normally don't fuss about this because I'm not too worried about my pinky. It's like shooting a Glock 26. I don't care if my pinky hangs off the end. It's going to be fine. But this one, I hit on this side of this thing, and it doesn't feel good whenever I've got it in my hand like this. And then this big square pocket clip, just not good. It bites at me. Now, whenever I move up here, everything clears up and everything is good and everything's happy. Using that forward finger choil. Now let's go around to the backside. Trying to get it in the reverse grip. It's just a little small for my medium-large hands. You get it like that, you're okay. But then you get your finger up there close to that blade for the kind of things you do in a reverse grip, and that ain't good. Now, pinch grips, it's fine. Pocket clip's still a little square and boxy, but it'll be okay. Pull cuts, push cuts, you're going to be okay. Again, big square pocket clip. But all in all, ergonomics aren't awful. It's just a small knife with a lot of swoopiness. So you may want to get your hands on it if you possibly can before you lay your money down, because it is going to be very hand dependent. So let's get the jeans out and let's see what this thing looks like in the Levi's. Alright, so we've got our lanyard hole just over the top, and it looks fine in the Levi's. However, we've got a lot of lift sticking up there and not much pocket clip thickness. And this is something that you're going to see if you look around much. That thickness right there is about 0.030. That thickness right there. That's thin. That's the kind of edges that I put on a slightly heavier duty knife at 0.030 behind the edge. That's freaking thin. And several of those have broke. So you don't want to go trying to stick this in a pair of Dickies or a pair of something that's got really thick seam up here. Not a good idea. You'll end up breaking it, and then you'll have to deal with customer service. And that's never fun. Well, I say that. Sometimes customer service is fun. But anyhow, action-wise, well, we talked about it a little bit. It's good. Flipping action is beautiful. It is no longer a false shut knife because of the amount of tension I had to put on that lock bar. We will loosen it up a bit and see if we can get it to fall shut. Yeah, we can get it to fall shut. It's got a good smooth action. But whenever we get it to fall shut, oh boy. So that lock bar issue is a problem. And hopefully whenever Tony gets this back, he calls MassDrop up and they get this thing fixed for him. Because I think that it would just be a very, very enjoyable, flickable, fun knife if the lockup issue was straightened out. Anyhow, guys, I don't think I'm going to go any deeper on this one. The Ferrrum Forge Falcon is a good design that was a bit over-designed right through here. And blade is well done. Price point manufacturing may have gotten it just a little bit with that lockup issue, and we didn't look at the screws, but let me grab a T6 here real quick. Watch the knurling on that driver. Those T6s are not what I would call the best T6s in the world. Maybe that helped. But those T6s are pretty, they're not awful. Let's not beat on it, but they're not what we've seen out of some other companies. Now the T8s, on the other hand, they're freaking good and tight. Just a little bit of wiggle in them. And where are we at? Oh, goodness. We're going to try to loosen it up again. I think we may have got it. Yep. Action's a little better there. I noticed that I didn't have the lock bar insert cranked down as tight as it should be. Whenever you deal with those lock bar inserts, folks, don't over torque them, but make sure that they are well seated down in there. They will affect the lockup of the knife. And definitely did on this one. But there you go, guys. That is the Ferrum Forge Falcon. It's a good design. They just went a little too far with it. I love this blade. This blade is beautiful. Handle needs some smoothing or something for me to be happy with it. But other than that, man, that blade with that little dip right there and that forward finger choil is a beautiful thing. You guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.